Hi everyone, welcome to this episode called The Big Picture of Modern Day Marketing. I will be taking you through, in this episode, I'll be taking you through some of the systems that you will need as an entrepreneur and as a small business owner to have in place to do successful marketing. We will also look at some of the methods and best practices that you should be applying. And then also we will investigate and have a quick discussion about the mindset of today's consumer, which is drastically different from the mindset of the consumers 10 years, 15 years ago. My name is Eugene. I'm from a company called Sales, and we specialize in training customers in marketing and systems. We also look at implementing CRM platforms for customers, and then mainly we focused on how to improve marketing and increase the interaction between customers and systems. So welcome again. I see we've got quite a couple of guys and hopefully girls online. Hi Carl, hi everyone. You guys are welcome to, in the chat app, give me a thumbs up if you can hear and see me well enough. Hi guys. So let's get straight into it. Welcome and thank you for joining us, taking the time to join us. And I'm going to do a couple of screen shares, and I have a whole bunch of questions I'd like to ask you guys online while we're busy. Hi, Jonathan. Okay, so let me start. I apologize if I have to look down constantly because I'm currently moderating my own webinar today on this episode. So I just quickly have to jump down and start sharing. Okay, so let's start with my first question to you guys, and that is the statement that the customer is always right. The customer is number one. And I'd like you guys in the chat, you guys can comment on this, but my question to you is, I always start with this, and why is the statement made that the customer is always number one? And in today's world of modern technology, definitely it's never been more important that the customer is number one. So if you guys have any questions, yes, I've got a couple of answers coming in. So the reason why I say that is, in my next slide, is that the customer is number one because the modern customer has got completely different expectations. They've got different expectations of you as a supplier. They've got different expectations of how they should be handled. And the default expectation, if I look at customers today and retailers, that they completely missed the point about how to handle a customer. Now, the reason why handling a customer is extremely important is because of what we call a customer journey. Customers only respond if they are treated in a certain way. And the systems and the methods I'm going to take through with you guys today is to try and build that customer journey so that customers are inspired to work with you. So the reason why we make the statement of why the customer is number one is because we live in a world of instant gratification, meaning that if a customer sees your ad on Facebook or they receive an email, they do not want to browse your site. They basically want to click. If they're interested in what you're saying, they're interested in the product that you're advertising, or they're interested in the comment or the article, they basically want to click and experience that immediately. And we're all used to that. We're all recipients of the same method. The other reason why they're number one is we've got immediate online comparison. In other words, not even if a customer doesn't like you and they want to take the business away, even if the customer likes you and they've worked with you for a long time, they will still immediately compare you with other suppliers online. And then the customer needs immediate satisfaction. In other words, if the customer has a question about your problem or a question about your product, you need to be able to answer him immediately. If they've got any query, if they need to know the price must be visible. You need to satisfy the customer immediately or lose the customer. So I've got a quick question for you guys. I'm going to start it up here. Let's say question number one. And my question to you guys on the poll is, do you think that the customer is always right? So if you guys wouldn't mind answering, what do you think? Is the customer always right? Now, while you guys are busy engaging with the question, there's a slight difference, and it's a bit of a catch because the question is the customer always right? Where my previous statement is the customer is always number one. Okay, so we've got very much a split between yes, they are, and sometimes they're not. I've got a very specific opinion about it, and that is I do think the customer is always number one, but I don't think the customer is always right, because the customer doesn't necessarily know what you know as the specialist. They don't know about your product, and the customer might have a preconceived idea of what they're looking at. So I don't think the customer is always right. However, I do think the customer is always number one, because you need to build a relationship and satisfy them. So thanks, guys. I think it seems that we've got an equal vote between the answers. Yes, they are. Sometimes they are, and usually they're not. Thank you for participating in that question. Okay, so let's move on to the next phase of my discussion, and that is a little bit closer. Again, we're going to end up with the systems and the methods. I just quickly want to explain to you guys why those systems and methods are extremely important. And the next portion of my chat is what we refer to as their story. Now, there's a lot going around about story. Story is very valuable to understand what is a story. But I've broken it down into their story and your story. Now, if we quickly look at their story, it refers to the state of mind that your customer is in when they browse Facebook, when they engage on LinkedIn, when they wake up the morning. In what state and what mindset are they? Are they reciprocal to ads? Are they looking for something? Are they looking for a lawnmower at that specific morning? Have they had a fight with their kids maybe in the morning? So a customer story is basically what's going on in our lives. And to be honest, it is at the moment the only thing, it's currently the only thing that is actually important to them. So the first thing that I usually tell my customers is that the customer doesn't care about you. He doesn't wake up and think, I'm concerned about sales. I'm really looking forward to sales. The customer doesn't care about you. And it's a hard fact. You also share the commercial world and the website world with 1.5 billion other websites, which means that you don't really feature on the customer's radar. The other interesting thing is that a lot of customers or businesses will build a website, they will build a social media presence, they'll build a LinkedIn profile, and then just simply no one responds to it. And that is because the fact that you build it doesn't mean they'll come. If you guys know the what movie was it in with the baseball, I think it's Field of Dreams, where the principle was we build it and they will come. It's exactly the opposite in today's world. So the fact that you do what I refer to it as the minimum criteria, your minimum criteria to start marketing is to build a proper website, well-designed landing pages, to build social media campaigns, to do Google AdWords ads. And once you've done all that work, the chances are you will still only see a small increase. But where marketing becomes very powerful in influencing people's stories is that you need to do this consistently. So another interesting fact is that I can ask you guys, and maybe in the chat, the question would be how many, you guys can just answer in the chat because I don't have an official question for it. How many engagements do you think a customer must have with you before they respond? Just for interest sake, if you guys can in the polls. Okay, so I've got a 20, I've got a 5, 9. Jonathan, thanks for that. We've got another 5. Okay, so it's interesting. We've got a 3 there. Okay, so the statistically, the figure is 12, which means that it obviously some cases, if someone's really looking for your product, they woke up the morning and they see I'm looking for a lawnmower, and here's a lawnmower, they might respond. But in general, for you to establish a rapport or a brand awareness with the customer, it's 12 to 14 times. Now, just think about that for a moment, that if you have to make yourself aware to the same guy 12 times over a portion, how long does it take? I mean, if you run ads every month, and considering that Facebook and LinkedIn don't place the ad in front of the same person, and you run email campaigns, I mean, that's quite a lot of engagement for the customer to recognize you. So just keep that in mind. It's one of the reasons why customers ask me that they've just run a really big AdWords campaign, but they're not seeing any results. That's the reason for is you need to run quite a lot of awareness. Okay, now we get into your story. Now, your story is basically where you are, your business is, where's your products, where are your services? And in most cases, your story all revolves around you. It all revolves around what you can offer. It revolves around what you supply, your unique selling proposition, your benefits, your features. And as you can see, on the one side, you've got their story, which is a needs-based story. It's a requirement. It's a life thing. It's how do you impact. And on the flip side, you're trying to punt something, and it's very difficult not to sell, because as a business, that's the nature of what we do. We sell stuff. So the challenge is always to match a client's story with your story, and you'll see it is literally that match. And this happens after a lot of engagements. So you need to keep in mind that the marketing systems that you do must support this. The marketing message that you put out there must support their story. It's a mindset thing, and it leads into my next little session, which I'm going to share a little video with you that I find incredibly inspirational. So I'm quickly going to go on. There we go. Before I do that, I quickly want to show you guys something, and that is from their story, your story. Now consider, let's say you sell shampoo. This is an example I always do with a bit of a giggle. Let's say you sell a product and you have to position your product. So you're considering your story. You've got this amazing shampoo, and you're considering who you want to sell it to. So the obvious choice might be you want to sell it to women, to people with long hair. And if you do your customer breakdown, you might end up something like this. I hope the screen isn't too small. How women choose shampoo, you will consider that. I'm just going to say you're going to look at brand and the smell and all kinds of stuff. I'm sure you guys can associate with that. If there are any ladies currently watching, that would typically be. But the same product, if you consider their story, the same product might be offered differently to exactly the other sex. So if we do sell to men, I think it's fair to say that is only what happens. So it's a little funny example of how a product, your story, will be packaged completely different based on their story. Okay, so I hope you guys got a bit of a giggle out of that. Okay, now I've got one question for you guys before I do my little demo there. And that is, have you heard of why? Very similar to story. There's a whole big thing about finding your why and why. But before I show you guys something, I want to ask you, have you heard of your why? Have you heard of the concept behind why? So I've got a couple of yes, nope, never heard of it. So the three options are yes, I love the idea, heard of it, haven't really given it thought, and nope, never heard of it. So the great thing about why is it's a mindset, it's a way of communicating. And I find that since I basically started thinking about this why in my businesses, and I've had businesses for 30 years, it profoundly changed my way of marketing. It's changed the way I communicate. It's even changed the way that I do a sentence or that I communicate on Facebook or post. So thank you for participating in that. So I'm going to start off with the guys that says, yes, I love the idea. This might be familiar with you guys. So I'd like to introduce you guys to a guy called Simon Sinek. So Simon is a very big, I'm a really big admirer of Simon. Simon started his public brand based on this concept of start with why. It's a YouTube video. I'm just gonna show you guys a short little 1-minute clip. And I want you to listen to this. It's really, I find it extremely inspirational. And I would strongly recommend that every time you struggle with an idea of what to say on marketing, is to look at this video. So it's available on Facebook. And I'm quickly going to share it with you guys. Let's see. Okay, there we start. So while it's starting, I can obviously talk. I'm just waiting for it to start up there. The action starts at about 15 seconds. So turn your volumes up. Let's just listen to the first minute or two.
I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do, 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable.
Okay, so I'm sure that you guys, I hope you could all follow that. It looks like everything went fine with the sharing of the video. But as you guys can see, that's a principle, a very simple principle that Simon developed, and that is starting with why, and it's based on the principle that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Now, what's interesting is finding your why is extremely difficult. We have workshops where we help customers find their why, and most people, if I ask them, have you got your why, they will say yes. And then I ask them, listen, what is your why? And what they'll do is they'll actually explain to me their what. So it's a bit of a litmus test that I advise clients to always look at, and that is that write down what you think your why is, and then you sit and you say, what is this? And I think that 99% of the time, you will find that what you think is your why is actually your what or your how. Now, as someone that's developed whys for many, many years, I must say I find it very difficult. And what I've also seen is that you, your product, and your company don't just have one why. You actually have a range of whys. And what's interesting is Simon uses Apple as an example. And I'm quite a big Apple fan, although I'm a bigger Android fan. But Steve Jobs, I've looked at many of Steve Jobs' presentations. What's really amazing is that Steve Jobs, for some reason, had a knack to talk in why statements, which is why he was so popular in his live demonstrations, is that he naturally gravitated towards talking about why people should buy your product, not what they should buy, which I find absolutely fascinating. So again, building up to the systems and the methods, whenever you communicate, this is what you should be doing. You should be asking yourself, why? What is the message that I'm saying? Is it a why statement or is it a what statement? So again, I'm going to ask you guys, now that you've watched the video, now that I've done some explaining about it, do you think you have your why? Now consider, before you answer, is your why truly based on filling a need, or is your why based on what you sell and what you offer? Your, like Simon said, your unique selling proposition. So think about it cleverly. and clearly. Okay, so we've got a couple of answers. I'm glad to say that there is a fairly even split between I think so. The next one is not sure now, and nope, definitely not. So the majority of people, and based on the results of this question and live question, is most of the people say no, we definitely don't have our why. I can add that having your why plays probably the most pivotal role in doing a successful marketing campaign and having successful sales. And that I can tell you out of experience. Okay, thanks everyone for participating in that question. Now, I want you to take a moment before we get into the systems, and that is to let me just go on here. There we go. Okay, is the principle of the elevator pitch. Now, you might ask, where does the elevator pitch fit into my story, it's marketing and systems and everything? Well, I found that the elevator pitch plays a big role in finding your why. It's a method of getting to your why. Now, I'm not sure if everyone knows what an elevator pitch is. Let me quickly explain. An elevator pitch comes from, I think, the 70s, where they would have these really big marketing or sales conventions. Let's say in the States, in America, everyone, basically thousands of salespeople get together in Las Vegas, and within the length of an elevator ride, usually about 10, 20 seconds, you need to sell yourself in order to get a business card. So the history of an elevator pitch is the length of an elevator ride. You need to convince someone to do something. Historically, it was to give you his business card. In today's world, is to give you, well, his digital business card. So an elevator pitch is really powerful, because if you start building elevator pitches for your business, it means that you will very quickly see that you're actually selling completely wrong. You will very quickly see that you're selling what and how. You're not selling why. So the reason why I do an elevator pitch is it's a method that we take customers through in order to get to their why. And I would strongly recommend that you do an elevator pitch. Now, just a quick little example. You'll see at the bottom of that slide, wow, how, and now. That's one of the methods that we advise customers to do. And that is the elevator pitch usually has 3 sentences from you and 3 sentences from the client. And I know it sounds strange, but if you get into a very quick discussion with someone, and now it's not just if you talk, if you do a Twitter post or you do a Facebook post, you are only allowed a very small amount of text. And which means that if you do a LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram post, anything, it means that it's the equivalent of an elevator pitch. So the method, one of the methods that we advise customers is the wow, how, and now thing. And that is that your first statement, I mean, if you meet someone, the customer will say, listen, oh, what do you do? That's usually how the discussion starts. So what we usually try and do is make a wow statement. In other words, make something that the guy goes, ooh, what? In other words, let's say you sell vacuum cleaners. And wow, a guy will say, listen, what do? You can basically say something like, I mean, it's a vacuum cleaner. You can basically say, we help housewives while their husbands are away. And the guy's going to go, wow, what do you do? And that must lead to the next question, which is how. In other words, must place your elevator pitch, your statement, so that the customer says, how do you do that? Once the customer says, well, how do you do that? Then the elevator pitch is working. After the how, you need to tell them exactly what you're doing now. So an elevator pitch is maximum 6 sentences, 3 from you, 3 from the customer, and is structured in such a way that the customer will ask you, what do you do? You will make a wow statement. He will say, how do you do it? And we will say, now this is what we do, which is a really great little template that I get customers to complete in a workshop format to do that. But there's tons of stuff online for you guys to look at and to engage with. And please read up on elevator pitches, read up on finding your why, watch Simon's video, and then also read up on your story and their story. Okay. So now the question is, and this is the crux of this episode of Big Picture of Modern Day Marketing, is how do we do that? I quickly want to ask you guys, based on that, is just my next question. I seem to be jumping with my topics a little bit ahead. Okay, my next question is, have you guys got an elevator pitch? Have you worked on an elevator pitch? Yes, definitely. The next one is think I have. Other one, nope, not yet. I'll quickly wait for you guys to do. I see there is a couple of yips, definitely. I'd really love to talk to you guys. Once a client goes through developing an elevator pitch, and once they go through the process of finding their why, things become really interesting, because you usually sit and evaluate what you did wrong. I've got a couple of customers that go, now that they're looking at their why, it indicates that their whole marketing exercises for the last year or 2 years were done completely wrong, which is a shame, but at least figure it out. So thanks everyone. I'm glad to say that 80% of you guys said no, not yet. If you are planning to do marketing, doesn't matter what you sell, take some time, develop elevator pitches, and it will basically become the basis of how you communicate on all your different platforms. Okay, so let's look at how we're now going to do something. I'm just going to have a sip of water here. Okay. Let me just quickly okay, I see I've got some comments of distortion on the video on his side. Okay, yeah, so the video quality of Simon's video wasn't extremely good by the time they took it. He's subsequently done TED Talks on the same topic. I personally love that video because I find it quite informal. So can everyone still hear me? There's quite a couple of guys that's joined in the meantime. Can you guys still see me and hear me correctly? Just give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. Okay, cool. Seems that everyone's fine with it. Okay, so let's have a look at two concepts. Before I do that slide, I usually, in front of my face-to-face clients, I go through asking them what has changed in marketing over the last 10 years. And I think I will answer on your behalf. Most clients will basically say that what has changed is that everything has gone digital. So a lot of people refer to traditional marketing and a lot of people refer to digital marketing. However, there's a bit of another categorization, and it's a principle that was done by HubSpot. I don't know if you guys know HubSpot. HubSpot is a thought leader in a company that really drives incredible marketing. So HubSpot basically said, no, it's not, the differentiation isn't between marketing and digital marketing. It's between what we call inbound marketing and outbound marketing, which basically classifies it a little bit different. And so we as a company and myself, we endorse this principle of saying it's either inbound marketing or outbound marketing. So a quick explanation, which is fundamental on how you guys, well, the only way that you'll market successfully is outbound marketing is what we also refer to as interruption marketing. And basically, it's everything we've done before social media and digital came about. In other words, a good example is television. Another good example is newspaper print. Another one is billboards, all the traditional print, audio, video. And the reason why it's called interruption marketing is that you are basically interrupting a client that's doing something else. You are interrupting them to give your marketing message. In other words, you will be watching a movie on television, and all of a sudden there's a commercial break, and now you see commercials about soaps and breakfast and maybe a car. And the problem is that you were watching a movie, you were watching Rambo or something, and all of a sudden you're looking at a car of washing powder. And I think that although those types of marketing historically was the only marketing available to us, the problem is still we got the typical reaction, and that is negativity. Because I didn't watch, let's say, Rambo in order to get more information about soap and powders and stuff. And the same with magazines. If you go through magazines, a lot of magazines have more than 50% of the magazines are advertisements for clients, for suppliers. But I don't really buy the magazine in order to get the ads. I actually buy it for the content. Same goes for radio, same goes for billboards. So outbound marketing as a thinking is called interruption marketing because it interrupts the client. And I think you guys can see that there's a natural resistance towards that. We're all quite annoyed with it. Okay, now the opposite, which is amazing. The opposite is what we call inbound marketing. Inbound marketing, we also call it opt-in marketing, is marketing that where the customer actually comes to you. So the customer subtly will see you somewhere, not outbound, but they'll basically recognize you on a consistent basis. Remember the 12 times they need to see you. So the customer will see you and then they will gravitate towards you. In other words, their attention is inbound. A great example is you advertise on Facebook, and Facebook knows more about us as a population or as a species than anyone else. So if Facebook says, listen, we will basically put your ad in front of 50,000 people, the chances are they are one of the best companies that can do that because they know so much about their audience. So they will subtly advertise, not really outbound, but they'll subtly put your ads in front of people and see how they respond. But once the customer is interested, he will click on it and he will be inbound to your website. You don't have to put your website out there. People will come to you. So it's a really amazing concept, and almost all digital marketing is based on inbound marketing. So I'm quickly going to show you guys a little slide here on the difference between inbound and outbound marketing. From an inbound marketer perspective, you guys can see big smile on the outbound marketing, a little bit of a frown. And there's just some interesting information that inbound marketing is based on communication coming in. The marketer provides value because the customer comes to you and asks you a question, whereas on the outbound marketing side, you provide very little value because you're just basically punting what you want to do. And because someone comes to you, they also ask you, can you help with this? I'm interested in this. Can you give me more information? It means that the inbound marketing has a natural tendency to educate, where the outbound marketing is literally just look at my product, look at my product, look at my product. I remember historically, we used to run ads on TV, and my intention was always to try and advertise in front of the largest audience I can. And it basically means that you're actually ticking off people negatively only to try and sell a handful of systems. In today's world, it's completely different, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so I've got my next question for you guys, a little bit of a poll is, what do you think will suit your business better? The two obvious options is outbound marketing. Outbound marketing is, however, very powerful when you do branding. Branding, running on billboards, running TV ads is very good for putting your brand out there, getting people to understand who you are. However, inbound marketing is really to communicate to people. So I think it's obvious. It's a bit of a trick question, sorry to say. I'm very glad that there's no one that does outbound marketing. Inbound marketing is very much the only way that you can market and sell in today's world, unless you're really big budget and you're a bit of a corporate, let's say you Ford or a cell phone company. Outbound marketing is really not something that a small business should look at. Okay, let's go on. Now, a way to look at inbound marketing, we're not going to look at outbound marketing. All systems, websites, social media, everything is basically focused on inbound marketing. And I quickly want to show you guys this illustration. This is basically how inbound marketing works. The first thing is you've got a stranger, someone that you haven't met or don't know anything about. You need to attract that person using all the different stuff at the bottom, blog, social media, that sort of thing. The guy then becomes a visitor. And a visitor to what? The guy needs to visit your website. That is basically, up until that stage, it's not your client. If you advertise on Facebook, you're advertising to Facebook's client. If you advertise on LinkedIn or Twitter, it's their client. You basically they allow you for very little amount per month, they allow you to advertise amongst their clients. But you need someone to engage and become a visitor on your site. Now, that brings us to the importance of a website, which is probably the most important tool in a business's arsenal. And that is, your website need to be very well developed. Some of our other episodes that we have online and e-learning is to how to develop a landing page, how to set up your own website. So please have a look at some of our other episodes on how to build websites properly. But once the guy is on your website, he needs to then become a lead. Now, what is a lead? A lead is where someone completes a little form and he clicks on submit. And it doesn't matter what you sell. I mean, you can basically do a pop-up for someone to sign up for a newsletter. That's a lead. He fills it in, clicks submit. It might be what we call a landing page, where you want them to give their details so that you contact them about a product. It doesn't matter what it is. But you need to convert that lead using what we call a call to action into someone. And they then become a customer. Once they're a customer, you can then engage with them. So you need to get someone that's a stranger onto your website. You need him to fill in a form so that he becomes a known lead, and then hopefully you can sell them as a customer. Now, the problem with this illustration is that it's sort of one-dimensional, because customers don't follow that process. Customers don't sort of click, visit, complete. Customers might see your post. They see you 12 times on Facebook or email. Then they'll go to your website, but they don't fill in anything. They come to the website and leave. Remember their story. They've got something else in mind. Then you go through the same process, and eventually, after a couple of times, they might complete something. So this, as an initial sort of inbound marketing flow, has been updated in what we now call the new model, which is this circular model, which means that a customer will see you from awareness. They will then go into this little loop of discovering who you are, all the services that you do. And then out of that, they will basically consider you and then go into the buy. This is a far more realistic and current way that customers, if they visit your website, if your website isn't done well, they'll just leave. If the website is done well, they will sort of hang around. They might go out again, but eventually they will remember you and they will gravitate towards you. So the question now is, how do you actually do this? And I'm going to give you guys a bit of a cheat sheet, so to speak. This is an inbound funnel that myself and our company have developed over 10, 15 years. You guys are welcome to use it. It really works fantastic. And these are the systems that you need in place in order to promote your business or promote your product. And you'll see it's a bit of a funnel. I want to say it's not a sales funnel. A sales funnel focuses on how people get into your sales process. This is an inbound marketing funnel, and it's a way for people to respond to your ads, click on them, visit your website, and then complete the form. So at the top, we start with Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Those are what we call your third-party platforms, your online ad platforms. They aren't yours. The customers that respond to them aren't yours. They are the platform's customer, but you use those platforms to advertise so that customers come through to you. We focus only on Google AdWords, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. They work incredibly well, and we don't really need anything else for most of our customers. However, remember, once people see you, they then need to go to your website. So the two blue blocks I've got as your website. What must be on your website? Well, your website must predominantly consist of landing pages. A landing page is the page that someone gets to when they click on something. So if you look at Facebook, let's take an example. On Facebook, you run a really cool ad for a product and you tell people, listen, if you're interested in this product, click here. Once they click, they need to not get to just your website, they need to get to a specific page on your website. That is your landing page. So websites must consist of all those things: products, services, web pages, shop, blogs, but the most important one are the landing pages. As a matter of fact, I do sometimes advise customers that you don't actually need a website at all. Your whole website can consist purely out of landing pages, pages that address the why statements and the elevator pitches for clients. So consider that. But as part of the blue block, as part of the top section, you need to have forms and call to action. So a form is that someone fills in and clicks submit. That form is what basically indicates a customer's interest. Now, if someone fills in a form, I've got a lot of businesses will create a form that they get in email format, which is great as a notification, but I would advise not to set up a marketing campaign or a form that simply sends an email to you. I strongly advise that the information that is completed goes into some kind of database. If you're running a WordPress database, it's very easy. If you use a tool like Gravity Forms instead of the normal forms, Gravity Forms is a bit of a database, and you've got all the information that someone gives you in a little database that you can use afterwards. Or you can go straight into a CRM system, a customer relations management system. So if you look at the three main layers and systems that you need, is at the top, you basically need to engage on the third-party platform. Below that, everyone needs to go to your website, which needs to be developed in a certain way, and that will go through to a typical CRM system. So to complete the rest of my picture is you will see there where email places. Sometimes people know they have to do email campaigns, but they don't necessarily know where it fits into the model. So if you take a customer coming in from the top, they will go through your website, they'll complete a form, and now they are a known contact. If you look at the left-hand side, there's at the bottom known contacts and unknown contacts. You need to get people to be a known contact, and for that you use your website. And then once they're a known contact, you basically start doing email campaigns and pushing them straight back into landing pages so that they are of interest. Okay, so I hope you guys like this little cheat sheet. It's a great template to use and to base your marketing on, and the systems that you require. The last thing on this image that I quickly want to show you guys is where do you type stuff? Where do you put your content? Where do you develop your product and the wording about your product? So that all happens above that. So just showing you a quick sort of full-blown illustration of it is right at the top. You typically have your product, you do analysis on your product, you plan, you position it, you go through why not. The why not is very interesting, because the why not says why will people not buy your product, and it's a great exercise to figure out what the why is, just to do the opposite about it. But let's say you've got your product, you're confident someone will buy your product. You then go through the green section, which is you will develop your why statement, you'll develop your elevator pitches, you'll do copywriting, and you'll create content. Once you've done that, you basically push that into your inbound marketing funnel. So it'll go through Facebook as campaigns, as ads on AdWords. It'll basically have people click through to your website, and then you've captured them, and now you can start marketing. So you'll see there's a very natural flow to how you do this. And I can tell you this is the method we use on all our stuff. It works, and it's not based on what we've developed, by the way. That specific layout might be somewhat proprietary to what we do as a company, but if you go and Google inbound marketing funnels, you will get very much the same principle. All I've done is I've basically put actual platforms into the stages so that you can see where Facebook fits in, where your website fits in, where a CRM system fits in, and where email fits in. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys on that. The video of this is available afterwards, so you guys can get access to the image. Alternatively, at the end of this episode, you will get my email and you can mail me. I'm happy to send it to you guys. So my second last question is just to get an indication if you guys, if anyone has a existing funnel in place, and again, not a sales funnel. I'm specifically talking about an inbound marketing funnel. If you're aware of it, you've built it. Have you got a funnel for your business? The answers are yes, I've got one. I want to create one, or no, I don't need one. So you guys can engage with that. I'm very glad we've got a couple of yeses. We have more wanting to create it, which is fantastic. And if you're wanting to create it, no time like the present to do so. Okay, thank you for engaging in that for us. Okay, I want to just show you guys a little bit of the background of we do this exercise as a professional marketing service provider. We develop websites, we develop CRM platforms for small businesses. I do quite a lot of training, consultation on marketing and these principles. And I want to show you something interesting, because a lot of people ask me, what tools do I use to do our marketing, to do our planning? There's amazing tools out there that can help you. However, I found that there's nothing wrong with pen and paper. This is a very practical example. This is for one of our other businesses, Disalox, and it's an indication on how we do the planning of the flow. So I'm not going to go through the details of it, but I want to show you there's really nothing in my view that beats sitting down and having a brain scrum and a work session. Take a piece of paper and a pen. I always say that pen and paper is also a piece of technology. It's not digital, but it's definitely a piece of a type of technology. And you sit and you draw your stuff. On that one, on the Disalox one, you will see at the top, we are planning there to advertise on Facebook, on AdWords, and on LinkedIn. I then build how the click-throughs work on the ads to the landing pages, LPO1. I will then develop the landing page, and out of that, I will basically respond to people. I'll send them mails. So this is a very good example of how we do planning, and that we do on a monthly basis. In other words, we go through this exercise every month on each of our products, on each of our campaigns. So just a tool of the trade is get yourself a pen and paper. Nothing wrong to do it like this. And okay, so just to bring you guys back, just to get back to that after we do the planning, just again a refresher on the mind, social media, landing pages down to CRM, and those are your different platforms. So I've got ending off, we're almost out of time. Ending off my discussion, I quickly want to ask you guys, there's a very well-known a statement that says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again but expecting different results. It's quite a popular statement, and the reason why I basically ask you about this statement is I'm quickly going to just start the poll off while we're busy with that. Okay, do you think that the statement, do you agree with the statement of insanity? And what's interesting about this statement is I've always found it quite closely related to marketing, because in marketing, you might do a marketing campaign and it doesn't work. So the question always is, do I keep on running the campaign over a longer period, let's say over December, because maybe people will change, or do I change my ad campaign to try and adapt to the market? And it's always a question of, do I change my campaigns or do I continue with my campaigns? So it's interesting. I've got most of you guys say yes. I'm going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to say that I don't agree with the statement. And the reason why I say that is that in the marketing sense, if you marketing for me is like a cannon, where you're aiming at a certain thing, and the bullets and the powder you put in is basically the marketing message of how far it hits and what it hits. And the thinking is also that if your target constantly moves around and you constantly shoot differently, the chances are less that you're going to hit the target. So there is something to consider by saying, if you shoot in the same spot the whole time, your market or your target might actually move in front of you. So just think about it, because it's there's definitely value to saying doing the same thing, but this is also if you're in control of the situation. In marketing, you're not in control of the situation, and your target is consistently changing. Their stories are consistently changing and adapting. And it might mean that shooting your cannon in the same spot does actually have a larger influence than changing it the whole time. Okay, that basically, I'm going to end off by saying this, which is, by saying, this session was to inform you guys as business owners and entrepreneurs on the power of understanding your own, what you should have in place. It does not mean that you have to do everything yourself. And we always go by this principle: is own your strategy and outsource the rest. So once you understand, hopefully this episode would have helped you a little bit in it. Once you understand how inbound marketing works, how it should be working, there's nothing wrong with getting an outsourced company to do your marketing, to do your website. But I prefer that my clients and business owners understand enough that they can go to a marketing company and say, listen, I want this done, instead of the marketing company telling them what to do. So that basically, I'm constantly clicking on the wrong one. Yeah. That brings me to the end of this episode, guys. Thanks a lot for joining. There's my contact details, Eugene Beertger, and it's eugeneb@sales.co.za. This episode will also be available as soon as it becomes a video to you guys. You might get you will get an invitation. And let me just go out there. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for taking the time out. We're right on our time slot, which is 50 minutes. Thanks a lot for taking the time to join me. And hopefully I'll see you on a couple of more episodes where we're going to talk about developing landing pages, websites, how to do a sales pitch, how to do an elevator pitch. So thanks a lot, and I will see you on the next episode. Thanks, guys.